That's the password. Perfect.
Oh, that's what we put, oh, okay.
Here.
We can watch ourselves?
You know how to do that on there like that?
Be on Facebook
Two
soon.
keys. Three. Okay.
Your school pictures.
All right, everybody, the clock has struck 30 after the hour, so I'd like everybody to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sorry if I hit either of you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Thank you to those that are here in person and for all those that are tuning in online. I'd like to pass it over to Katie to please call roll.
Schumate?
Here.
Cox? Here. Cosmore?
Here.
McNabb?
Here.
Molnar.
Here.
Valentine?
Here.
Wood?
Here.
Well, we have a full house this evening, so no need to excuse any absent members. Council and members of public and department heads, in front of you, you will see tonight's agenda. Council, obviously, the corresponding information in your packet. Council will be looking for a motion for approval of agenda.
Motion for approval of agenda.
Motion by McNabb, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Cosmore. Any discussion on this evening's agenda? Katie, please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore? Yes. McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Well, as with every meeting, we will open with public comments, and we'll also have another public comment section at the close of our meeting this evening. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our members of public. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any public comment, please approach the podium, make sure that light is green, and state your name and address.
Good evening, Wayne Brennan, 30490 South Gibraltar Road. Recently, Marina Bay Apartments, what it used to be called, it's probably sold twice in the last year. And everybody's complaining about how their rents are going up there and they're making them take screen doors off and everything else. If our building department, why aren't they involved in this? Why aren't they inspecting this and going through it? Because I know there used to be a lot of public housing in there.
Okay.
So is the city receiving anything from that, or is there anything still there that the city's liable for or responsible for from the government?
That's a great set of comments. Thank you. Vince, I'll turn over to you just for a little backdrop to your point. I know McKenna has worked to take what is our existing language and perform rental inspections. And I know that we had discussed this at the council level regarding our language and the need for rental inspections. We did have a detailed discussion, which I think you may have been there for that evening, in which we talked about apartment complexes or multi-unit buildings relative to single-unit homes. And so I know that the rental inspections are ongoing. I know they made a lot of progress in data capture and enforcement of language. But Vince, do you know anything specifically about Marina Bay? And if not, we'll take that as a follow-up and make sure we close the loop with you.
I don't know anything specific about Marina Bay, other than I know that there has been one complex that they've been problematic as far as getting to there for inspections. I don't know if that's, I'm sorry? Is that?
I have information on that.
Oh, perfect. So we'll turn over to Chief. Chief, do you want to speak to that?
So the building department has been involved. They did inspect every one of those units. They brought in other inspectors on a day to do them all in one day. So they went through that whole place.
Okay, well, I'm just curious, because I know I poured the sidewalks there 50 years ago, so
Yeah,
it's been a long time, and I know it was public housing. I just wondered if anybody had any control over that, because to take people's rent from $800-900 a month to $1,700 a month is quite a stretch.
It's the.
And I don't know what the rules are on it. That's why I'm asking. That's,
They are doing improvements. I know that. They have a new management company we've met. They have an on-site person we've met. I just got a call the other day that they actually reached out to us to tell us that one of their door walls got broken by a lawnmower. One of their own lawnmowers blew a door wall out, and they were directed to come here and get a building permit to put a new one in.
like I said, I was just curious.
Yep, they're working with them.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Wayne. Are there any other public comments for council or department heads this evening? Well, if you change your mind, we have another public comment section at the end of the meeting this evening, and maybe you hear something throughout our discussion for which you'd like to address, incremental to what you came in with today. So with that, we will close our public comment if there's no further public comment, and we will focus council's attention on the consent agenda. Council, in front of you and in your packet, you will see items A through E of our consent agenda. Item A, bills reference number 24. Item B, payroll number 895. Item C, special city council minutes of 6/10/2024. Item D, city council minutes of 6/10/2024. And item E, recreation commission minutes of 6/11/2024. Council will be looking for a motion to approve this evening's consent agenda, items A through E.
Motion to approve this evening's consent agenda, items A through E.
We have a motion by Valentine. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wood. Council, any discussion on this evening's consent agenda?
Give me 1 second. I wanted to take a look at the planning commission minutes.
Oh, there's no planning commission.
I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize. No discussion from me.
Any other discussion or questions? Katie, please call roll.
Cosmore? Yes. McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Motion carried. Moving on from our consent agenda to communications, we do not have any communications to review or receive this evening, which will turn us over to my report this evening. Council, in my report this evening and captured within your packet, I'll call attention to 3 items, A through C. For administrative updates, I've been using this as an opening discussion in each one of my reports for council. So I'll call out a few items that are captured in your packet, and for public visibility, we'll have some discussion. Number 1 is police negotiations. We had a kickoff meeting on June 17th with both the COAM and the POAM union representatives. Per council's direction, that included Chief Tangway, Vince, Councilman Valentine as the council representative, and myself, in addition to the union representatives. They provided proposals to kick off the discussion from both a COAM and a POAM perspective. We're actually currently, since that meeting on the 17th, reviewing the proposals. We're running some data analyses on some of the content of their proposals and understanding how that relates to broader market considerations, as well as our own operation and financial considerations. Our goal is to schedule a follow-up meeting with the individuals listed here next week. So Councilman Valentine will look for your availability next week. The goal of that, recognizing that there is also holiday festivities, we'll schedule around our availabilities. And our goal of that meeting is to, within this group, review all the information we've gathered in context of the proposals that we received to understand where we want to go from there. My goal would be then to have a follow-up meeting with both the COAM and POAM union representatives, but obviously no action will be taken on anything without council's review and direction. So I just want to make sure everybody was up to date. Very productive discussions to kick things off. Please, Chief Tangway, Vince, Councilman Valentine, if you want to add anything else, or council, if you have any questions on the process. Treasurer Fonte.
Yes, being new to what I'm reading here and looking at some previous notes, there was a union of POLC, is that correct? Can you enlighten us on what's transpiring here in the separation or the expiration of that into the 2 different associations, correct?
It's basically 2 different unions, same association. So,
Okay.
there's 3 or 4 major police unions in the state of Michigan, and one being the Michigan Association of Police, MAP, the FOP or POLC, which is who we formerly had, and then Police Officers Association of Michigan and Command Officers Association of Michigan. It's not unusual for unions to seek other unions. In this case, I think there were some other reasons why they left one of the unions. A former member was receiving some information they believed, and they just looked for something different. So I went through this in my former department where we switched unions. Sometimes you're looking for just fresh eyes, fresh change, fresh representation. So that's why they did it, and then they decided that they would want to have a command union and a patrol union. The command union is usually the upper management, been here longer, has goals of retirements, pensions, things like that, where the younger guys are looking for higher raises. They don't, pay me now, don't pay me later. They're not thinking that way. And also the command union gives the ability now for someone in the command union to actually supervise and make recommendations for discipline, because it's not their own union member they're doing it to. So it's,
Is there an advantage for the city as there is an advantage for the unions?
the only advantage for this, for both would be is, for the union, the three-man union, which it would be negotiating, more negotiations for us. But usually, you can tell from our meeting that they're gonna try to, almost the same proposal was given,
Okay.
with just a little tweak, so.
Thank you.
Really good question. Any other questions, comments? One thing I'd like to open up for discussion, and Chief and Vince and Councilman Valentine, let's talk about this together. If we're proposing to have a meeting with this group of individuals next week to discuss the proposals and how we might want to go back to the union representatives, that would put us obviously in the holiday week. Our next council meeting, Katie, keep me honest, is going to be what date in July? All right, so the question then becomes, which we should align on today, if we are able to next week, the holiday week, discuss internally and arrive at a position for which we would hope to go back to the union representatives with, do we want to come to council first on the 8th with that information before going back to a meeting with the union? Or do we want to, any direction there? Chief, Vince, if you have any?
My preference would be to have a closed session review with the city council of what our counter response will be to the demands that we received. I just think it's one of those things as a bargaining team, you don't want to get too far ahead of where the council's sentiments are and what they're willing to consider, and then create a difficult negotiating position to try and backtrack, so.
I think it would be very useful to do that, because if we go into those negotiations and we know where council stands and where Amy stands financially.
Yep.
And we know right what we're dealing with, and if we happen to get to that point, we know what we can do right then and there if we have to.
I like that a lot, which is why I wanted to raise that today. So, council, actually, let's take a look, and if everybody can reference their calendars. One efficient approach we've taken is having the special meeting, or closed session, take place right before a council meeting. So would everybody be available and open to meet at 6 PM on the 8th? And if so, I would want a motion from council to schedule that. Katie, are you aligned to that approach?
I'll make a motion to schedule us.
Oh, sorry, Vince.
You might want a little bit longer than a half hour, though. I think I think an hour, we can cover, but there's going to be questions.
Like
So I-
5:30?
So
think
5:30, that
yeah.
sounds great. So council, just check your calendar. Obviously, it's a council meeting day, but Councilwoman Cosmore, that'd be back to you if you wanted to continue with that thought process.
I make a motion to hold the closed session on July 8th at 5:30 PM,
So that would be a special meeting.
special meeting.
Fantastic. Is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
Second by Valentine.
We
Council,
won't need a closed session to discuss,
Labor negotiations?
yeah,
Yeah.
so it'd still be
Yeah, but in order to have a closed session, it has to be held in a special
special,
meeting.
then we go, okay.
so that'd be a motion in order on that day for entering closed. Katie, do you have what you need?
Yes.
Council, any other discussion on that item? Great. Katie, please call roll.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore?
Yes.
Well, I just want to thank those that are involved and thank the union representatives for a productive kickoff, and I like our plan. So July 8th, we'll review with council, and then we can schedule any follow-up with the union representatives accordingly. Next topic on my administrative updates is going to be dispatch. To all of those in the room and online, I know we've been very transparent in regards to our intentions of pursuing a partnership for which we would absorb Rockwood's dispatch. Following the last updates we've been giving at the council meeting, I know we've also circulated the presentation that we delivered for Rockwood and their council. Thanks again to Vince and Chief and many others that helped assemble that. Amy, from a financial perspective, appreciate you immensely. The great news is that the ball seems to continue to progress. So Rockwood had requested that we send over a intergovernmental agreement that would detail the proposal for absorbing their dispatch. That was drafted and sent. Council, you were sent a copy immediately, and that I also included in your packet this evening. It's the ball's in Rockwood's court, and I know they had some discussions amongst council, but we'll be awaiting any formal action they take to finalize any partnership, if they so choose. And then we would, obviously, if that is a partnership that they enter into, we would then execute a transition plan. Two things to call out there. Number one is Chief has been amazing in regards to just getting some proactive outreach going with officials that would be relevant for the operation, including our partners in DMA. So that's number one. Number two is I was at the DCC executive meeting today, for which I actually got to see Bob and others, and just let them know an update, which is the ball's in Rockwood's court, and we just are grateful in advance if this does happen for their support in the operational transition. The last thing I want to say, and Chief, I'll defer to you if you have any other color here, but it's imperative that we do this right if this does become a formal partnership. And with a discussion we'll be having shortly around city administrator, I had encouraged Chief and council, obviously this would be pending your direction, I encouraged Chief to consider looking into some sort of consultant that has expertise in dispatch, that could serve as a third-party contracted operational project manager and assurance of a very smooth and sound transition. My logic behind that was I'm sure we could find a pretty cost-effective partnership in that lane. It allows us to make sure that Chief and the department are very supported and that no detail is overlooked, and that there's a project management partner with expertise in dispatch that can help manage a seamless transition. Our most important goal is to make sure it's seamless as much as possible. So I just want to plant the seed, not looking for action tonight. Chief, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we've had the discussion, I've discussed it with a couple people too. First, most importantly is if we do find somebody to help us, and I think we may have some people here in-house that we may be able to use also. They have to be familiar with our computer system, which is the shared information network that we share with the downriver agencies. So, if we brought up somebody from Jackson and they weren't familiar with the New World system, then it would really be a waste of time. So we'll make sure if we hit those heads, check off those boxes and get the right person. But I believe we may even have a couple people locally that could really help with this. So that may be somebody that, and one or two of them may be already on our staff. So if we just gave them the time and the role to just kind of oversee, guide, work overlaps, do different things, it may work. A couple things to note, Rockwood's either administration, city council, is going to come tour our dispatch center on Wednesday evening, sometime around 3 or 4. I'll get for sure time on that. They asked to come tour it, so that's another step in the right direction that they want to see what we have. And we're prepared for that. Sergeant Trush was going to handle that. He does have some family stuff going on right now, so we'll make sure it's covered one way or the other. And lastly, I had a great call today with Chief Kraus. And, him and I talked a little bit between him working dispatch today and having to juggle all their phone calls. But he's basically assured me that if we have to put together a list of things to do on his end, our end, or whatever, he would be willing to be a partner in that. So I think that'll go a long way if we need to help, make a list of what needs to be done, and he's willing to help do it too. So that was a great phone call today.
It's fantastic. Council, any questions, concerns, feedback?
Well, it looks pretty good, reading over all the information. I mean, I think it's a good fit for both of us.
I think it's an incredible synergistic opportunity for two communities that have outstanding collaboration already. So I'm really excited about it, and we'll await Rockwood's final guidance on where they land. Next topic on my list is going to be waste management. Just to update, and Vince, I'll defer to you if you have any other color to add. Aligned with the council's motion on our June 10th meeting, I know Vince has been working on contacts from both the Priority and Stevens perspective. I also want to shout out Chelsea had also started working on assembling a PowerPoint if we do end up pursuing Stevens as our partner. She had gotten ahead of just basically assembling all the details around Stevens and the service and considerations for our residents and our community. The goal being that we could get ahead of any communication and transparent change that they need to be aware of. Obviously, this is an agreement with Priority that's active for months to come, but if that transition takes place, we can have a nice communication plan to the community around how that would be managed. So, Vince, anything you'd like to add there on waste management?
Yeah, a couple items. I did speak with Priority, their business rep, related to the proposals and going forward with Stevens. They understood where the real difference is the fact that Stevens is providing new containers for all of the residential units. And segueing into that is that we're looking at hopefully having, and we should have it by the July 8th meeting, an agreement for council to consider approval with Stevens Disposal. But they're also looking at providing the carts about a month earlier. They've got a contract with Mylan, and so they outsource the purchase and distribution of that. And so they're looking at a period right at the end of July that they would be handing them out. And so, and then we'll cover with that what to do with the blue containers that you have, the City of Gibraltar ones. And, I think in many cases, a lot of cases where these transitions takes place, they just keep them, the residents, and use them. If you've got another look, if you fill the 96-gallon container and need more, you could use that, or sometimes folks find other uses for it. So, but we should have something with the council at the July 8th meeting.
Awesome. And then just, oh, sorry.
Could they make those trash cans, refuge cans?
I could talk with them about that. I do think that, that the yard waste is going to be handpicked, unlike the refuse. So whether they want it in a container that large for their staff would be something that to be considered.
And then just two other comments there. One is Treasurer Fonte, thank you you had provided some comments around waste management. So I know, Vince, you were included on that, I believe, so we'll make sure to look into that. I don't know if you anything you want to suggest here for Council Treasurer Fonte, but just know that we'll follow up with those points that you had raised in your notes.
Oh, that's fine.
And then I think it's important to, I know many of you had highlighted positive experiences with Stevens previously, because they had previously provided waste management services. I raised the discussion today at DCC amongst some other mayors who also had positive sentiment to share. But I just recommend, Vince, as an exercise as we kind of convene on a final plan here, just maybe providing some feedback from some of our surrounding neighbors as to their experiences and anything we can do to best manage our new partnership if that's where council goes. So just plant the seed there. Any questions on waste management? All right. Next topic is going to be city administrator and appointments. Council, you'll have, this is item B on my report. But as you see, there's sub-bullets for 2 items for you to consider. I'm going to pass it over to Vince because him and Chief had obviously done an awesome job in assembling a lot of information for your review this evening. But just a couple thoughts from me before we pass it over to Vince. Number one is, Council, I think, we've been on a journey with the city administrator. And from the departure that took place in February to a pretty exhaustive market search and interview process. Which led us to our discussion around what I feel is such a wonderful opportunity to have Chief Tangway come into that role if council so chooses to make that appointment this evening, with obviously the support of our interim city administrator, who is now going to be in a consultant capacity through the end of 2024. But what I want to color in your packet, I highlighted this, so I won't be redundant here. One thing that we want to be very mindful of is having a very intentional timeline for this pathway and the transition. And I've spoken with some of you, and I really appreciate it for you raising kind of the thought process around if Chief Tangway is appointed and has a double duty of not only a city administrator role, but his DPS role, how do we make sure that we are very, I would say, mindful of a time-bound plan and the mission-critical items that we need to accomplish in that timeline? So the feedback some of you have raised was, we want to make sure we don't have an open-ended timeline, and that we have a clear stage gate or checkpoint to make sure that double duty turns into singular duty, so that chief can focus as his city administrator responsibilities, which is his primary role for the long term. With that being said, I know we've met with some council members last week, but Vince and Chief had assembled basically what are mission-critical items and a reasonable transition timeline that's responsible for the City of Gibraltar operation. And just a couple highlights. One is the double duty is critical immediately for Chief for a couple key reasons. One, dispatch. If the City of Rockwood chooses to come to the City of Gibraltar, Chief is the current overseer of all dispatch in the City of Gibraltar and must play a critical role as DPS lead and oversight in the seamless transition. And that process will take some time. Number two is, for our succession planning, we're a big believer in empowering internally. And so we'd love to look internally for the next police chief or DPS lead for the City of Gibraltar. With that being said, if council's well aware of this, but we have certain staff that are going through ongoing training. And that ongoing training has a few-month timeline at minimum to complete said training prior to any pursuit or application, if they so chose, for a role as chief or DPS lead. Number three is council, and I thank council for this, has raised some discussions around how we think about engineering services and how we think about DPW and its relation to the city administrator role. And I think that needs to be very thoughtful in regards to a parallel project so that we can understand those pieces of the equation as it relates to the long-term city administrative structure. And that's gonna take some time, and I encourage us to be very intentional in working that out immediately so that it converges on the transition timeline we discussed. Next one is the obvious, which is if we hire a new chief, we have to make sure we train them and we transition them effectively. And chief is the guy for that role. And he must have the access, obviously, to all the systems, and he must have the responsibility to make sure that he sets up all the right reporting and software interfaces and transition planning and introductions and connections and operational considerations that no existing personnel would have all of those today, nor would they have them tomorrow. It would take some time. Chief had educated me that that seems to be, a 2-month process at minimum, obviously, to get those pieces in place, but Chief has already been proactive in getting that ball rolling. Next one is reports. We have a lot of reports that are required, so Chief's already been getting ahead of that to make sure that all of our reporting requirements are met. Same thing goes with Department of Justice grants and other reporting for end of year. The other piece, which I detailed, which I won't go into immense detail on, is this change, if it was an internal chief that was put in that position, is gonna have office hiring considerations. Meaning officers that need to be hired. And if certain personnel are considered for the chief, then we might have to be in a situation where the school resource officer needs to be appropriately backfilled if that is a path that goes for council's direction. So there's a lot of moving pieces in making sure that the department is set up for success, depending on the application, who internally puts forth their interest in a chief position, if any. So all of that being said, it's absolutely critical for chief to play both roles. And what you see in your packet and the associated resolution for council that Vince and chief had assembled is we'd like to have a time-bound window of this appointment to October 31st. So a period of 4 months. That period of 4 months allows us to achieve all of those mission-critical items while preparing for the transition plan. In that 4 months, we'll learn. We don't know everything today, so we'll learn where we're exposed, where things are going well, where things may not be going well. We'll allow those projects that are mission critical to progress, and we'll parlay that to an intentional stage gate for the application process for our next chief. And obviously get ahead of that in that 4-month deadline of window. So that was the goal. Now, the last thing is, in order for chief, both in that window and longer term, he needs access to the systems. In order to access the systems, he needs to retain some level of DPS credential. Now, we can talk about it in our charter and our ordinance language considerations, but at the end of the day, we need to think about as council, and I put this in your packet, of once he is city administrator, how do we allow him to still have access to the police interfaces and softwares for that duty that he must have for the longer term? Also, there's personnel considerations on chief, right? Retaining that, and you could talk more educated than I can about the importance of that for you and your career and everything you've worked so hard to achieve to today. While respecting the fact that the new chief will be DPS, we need to think about like a deputy director of public service or some sort of credential that allows chief to retain his police credentials for both personal, professional, and operational needs. Chief, any other color you want to put there?
No, I think we've got some, Vince and I have talked a lot. I know the mayor and I've got some strategic ideas on how we can put things in place. It's great that we have our 2 school resource officers back right now in the summer. This is when we're about to get the busiest, and it'd be great to just pull the plug and do things now. But once we start taking pieces off the board with vacations, and for an example, this week, we had a plan, the detective lieutenant's on vacation, so happens I'm on vacation, and that plan immediately got blown up because we had a death in someone's family and a possible another death tomorrow in someone's family. So these pieces of the puzzle and trying to fill everything and keep our officers from burnout and keep them working. My plan would be, obviously, if this gets approved tonight, probably come and start asking if we can consider hiring somebody. I've told, when I took the job as police chief, it is hard to have an outside chief come in. And my plan when I came here was to train people internally, and I've done that. And I think we're showing that, we're getting them the training they have. I would, pound the table if the council was saying we need to go outside again. I think we're in a good spot. I think we got people, several people that could step up and run the department with the right guidance and training and somebody here. So I think the city's in a great spot.
Thank you so much. And the last thing I'll say is keep all that thought process in your mind for the first item, which is the appointment of Chief Tanguay if council chooses. Second thing is, as you all are well aware, we had council approve a consultant role for Vince. And we did at the time, we said, what's a reasonable amount of allocation for hours, right? Now, we only pay Vince for the hours that are actually worked, but at the time we said up to 10 hours. With the transition coming and with the recent consultant work that Vince has been doing since his full-time expired, we've learned very quickly based on data that it's going to require a little more than 10 hours. And so Vince will talk, but that's the second item is we're looking for council's consideration to approve an additional allocation. Again, only hours that are used are paid, but that way we have a higher allocation because the data is suggesting that we're using more than 10. Not drastically more, but more than 10. So that's the backdrop. Vince, please take council through the information that's in their packet for items 1 and 2.
Thank you, Your Honor. The resolution itself is very straightforward in the sense that it would appoint Mr. Tanguay to serve as city administrator and chief of police with the initial appointment. He had indicated, and it's contained in the resolution, that he would be supportive of continuing his existing employment agreement, providing a 4% increase that's going to be received by Teamsters and general employees here July 1st. And then again, upon that part of that, the thought was didn't want to have an increase or discussion take place while we're in negotiations with the POM and COM. And then at that point, the last part of the resolution is that there's an ongoing dialogue related to the city council that will involve not just the police department and the duties of Mr. Tanguay, but other organizational restructuring components that are very, very critical to the long-term success of the city, as well as the transition for Mr. Tanguay in his capacity as city administrator. There's a path to get there. Had good discussion with council members last week talking about it, that we can expedite a few of these items, run them concurrent while other aspects and projects are getting taken care of, and employees finishing up the training that they're receiving. But we, feel that to get started with this, looking at, I think, in one of the first items would be, the city engineer capacity, whether we would go down that road, what it would look like, what the duties, responsibilities, compensation would look like. I think, given where I think we're at as a community, that there is a need and possible way to get there financially. So that, while tonight's would be an appointment of Mr. Tange, there's still much more work regarding the long-term structure of the organization that I think will go along over the next few months.
And I just appreciate Chief Tangway for the financial component, which is to forego any new contract discussions while we work through the police negotiations, even though you're going to be helping us in the double duty front. I appreciate that immensely. Testament to you.
You want me to talk about the second one?
Why don't we go one by one,
All
just
right,
for
good
council?
enough. Yep.
So, council discussion, but the motion is described, that's recommended in the opening of the resolution.
Motion to appoint Richard Tangway to the position of city administrator, also while keeping his police chief title until further notice and giving him a 4% pay raise.
That's the motion. Council, is there a second for that motion? No second?
Second.
Second by Cosmore. Discussion.
Did I hear correctly that he's going to hold dual roles until October 31?
Yeah, that's the transition window we've described, for which in advance of that deadline, we would be pursuing posting the position and working through the transition considerations with
So
council to discuss
Is
that.
October 31 going to be part of the agreement here?
Vince, what are your thoughts on how
Well,
you
I think,
incorporate that?
It did, I had it open-ended on this, and, I'm not, I think, we should have a date critical as to when we reevaluate where things are at. We know we have items going forward, looking at the organizational change, but I think at that point, it would probably be good to have a hard date to come
I
back.
think it would be good for the employees that might be ascending to that position to know that they have a target date.
Yeah.
Chief, what do you think? Does that sound like a line plan?
I have no intention of doing it for a long time. But I do believe that it's gonna take some time. And if you take, like right now, if you said, hey, you're city administrator, then we'd have to appoint a police chief fairly quickly. And that's gonna affect our road strength. And first, I have to cover the road patrol. The road has to have a police officer working. I need basically 2 officers every day with a third on an overlap. And once we start picking those pieces off the board, we'll be in trouble. So I would love to come back. I sent a timeline to the mayor, come back and say, what, if we got this engineer thing hammered out, I want to post a position to hire a new police officer ASAP, would be my thought process, and get someone in here so that way we can start the training process, and then we have that body we need to move pieces around the puzzle a little more. I mean, my phone call today with Sergeant Trush was, be with your family tomorrow, and I'm on vacation, but if we have an arrested prisoner, I'm coming in tomorrow to deal with it, because I'm not gonna take him, he needs to be with his family tomorrow. And I'm cutting grass and staining debt, so I can take away. So that's one of my concerns.
So yeah, in short, October 31st is our target deadline. Vince, feel free to test how we could best incorporate that if you see fit. But there's a dedication by all, including Chief, especially as he highlighted, to make that happen.
You don't think it could be any sooner, the date? You think that's?
I would love to target the Stroll date, because, as you look around the board of employees, there were 2 that were interested last time. Either one of those 2, if they're both interested this time, either one of those 2 is gonna involve a move, which would take one of them out of the Stroll. So either one involves, so I gotta be ready to put somebody back there too. That's a grant-funded position.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's funded by a grant, so we have to fill that position on the grant. So, again, if it was just one of them, but I don't think that, so no matter what decisions made by city council and mayor down the road, and who gets that job, it's gonna involve multiple moves in the police department too, so.
Yep.
The best way to get there is to have that body, that'd be my recommendation. It's hard to do, but if we're forecasting and seeing that, let's prepare for it. That's mission critical there. This dispatch thing, I had a lot of intentions of stuff to put in the packet today, and all I did was read interlocal agreement emails on the day before I left, a lot of them. So you know, there's a lot of little things that need to get done, but I think we're in a good position. I think we can get it done. But I'm sure you've got concerns. I think tonight I would love that, if you want to send a message back to the guys, you let them know that there is going to be an internal candidate. I think that, I've already told them that I'm gonna fight for them. But I think,
Oh, yeah, I think without a doubt, we,
but I've told them I've told the entire staff that, but that I'm fighting for it. So I would hope that you guys send that same message back.
Thank you.
My issue with the motion is the latter part, the end of it for the future term. I didn't get the exact verbiage, but it was from here forward. Can't support that without a deadline on there that we, you know, this talk about a transition and let's get there in this planning. That's what we're here to do, in my opinion. We are here to deliberate on these issues right in front of everybody. And, you know, when we're talking about let's check in at a future date and it gets wishy-washy and I'm not comfortable with it. Having a plan in place is what we're here to deliberate that plan and then execute that plan via motions. So putting together a plan is what we're here to do, in my opinion. I don't think we're here to kind of kick the can back to offline and hope that something kind of gets together for everybody working together in their offices. I would support a motion that had filling those dual roles until October 31st with an immediate search committee to start the internal candidate review. That would happen immediately, in my view, with an intention of having somebody in place by October 31st or November 1st.
I'll amend my motion to make it to October 31st.
yeah.
I think that was what we detailed in the packet, so the clarity in the motion is very aligned with the packet information. So I'm in agreement with that. Chief, do you have any concern on that from your end?
No, the only thing I'd concern would be is if we go out to hire a new police officer and we can't, and we don't get the applications that other cities are doing, and we have a hard deadline, how do we extend that deadline until we?
This is the same way we do this, via motion of council.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that's my only concern.
Right, that's great.
I've had some great feedback on people we may get to apply if we have a hiring, so I've already had that feedback, that there's some people that are very interested in possibly coming here, so if that's the case, and we heard that last time when I was able to get Officer Bates, and if we get a couple of these names I've heard, we may be in a better position than I thought, but I never want to put the card out there. Let's make sure we got everything.
Well, and I think that there's a level of planning, and that's important, obviously, and you've laid it out, all of you have laid it out in your write-ups here. But there's also a point of planning something to death. And I think that we have a plan in place, and executing it is the next step. But going back for further planning seems to kind of drag our feet a little bit. And we're already to a point where we've had no city administrator since the end of January.
Don't forget about Vince.
Well, we've had no permanent city administrator, and that's left us with some major challenges. You know, one of the biggest things that I've noticed in the last 4 weeks was that we put out a statement saying there was no agenda items for a planning commission meeting. And that's simply not the case. You know, we've got people that have been wanting to be on a planning agenda, and I feel like it is a lapse of having somebody in a permanent city administrator position who is playing quarterback there. So we did have items that should have been in the planning commission meeting. We have concerned citizens who want to invest in our community, who want to put their horse farm up. We have things that are supposed to be in front of them, but we're simply not doing that, and we're kicking the can, and it's becoming more and more of an issue. I think that we have to, stop kicking the can and kind of act a little bit quicker. It's not fair to our residents who want to be in front of a planning commission that they don't have a quarterback to put that together. And I know we have issues within our planning department. I know that we are going through some transitions and notices and things. I don't know where we're at with that, and I'm sure that we'll probably get an update here, whether it's this meeting or the next one. But that's something that should be firmly in the position of the city administrator to oversee. And trying to oversee that along with the responsibilities of the chief and taking on the additional dispatch is something's going to get lost in letter of importance. And our service to our residents for what we offer, including planning commission opportunities, DDA organization, there's a lot that falls on a city administrator in our community. And I think that if too much time and energy spent focusing on not only open projects from the police department, but also training, that's a lot to put on one person. To put on training for the next chief, as well as training to do the new job, as well as trying to close out open projects, as well as carrying the responsibilities of a city administrator, that's a lot to do for even a 4-month period. So I think that I'm super grateful that we have the right person to take on the tasks of city administrator. I have no doubt that once Chief Tangway's attention is put on the planning commission and the other roles of getting all the departments to work together and work effectively together, I have no doubt that policies, procedures are going to start coming into picture and being much more effective and efficient going forward. But I fear, with reason, that is going to be delay for a minimum of 4 months and potentially beyond, unless we put practice in place now to start that transition sooner. And that transition may come with the hiring of an additional police officer sooner than later. I wouldn't mind seeing a motion this evening to approve the listing of a police officer right away. I hope that we do. I hope that we are forthright in looking for another person to train in the school resource officer position starting right away. I hope we can take those actions this evening and identify candidates who would be interested in taking that. I think that all these things are things that don't necessarily need to wait to occur between now and October 31st. We can do them now and have actionable results now and kind of stop the waiting game or kicking the can and be a little bit more efficient in pushing this thing faster.
I think that aligns perfectly with the transition plan in your packet, and you got the motion in your court if you choose to use those. Awesome. Any other discussion on Dorothy?
Yeah, I agree with Rob, what he's saying, and, I was here talking to you and Vince today, and the same thing. So are you saying that you don't want to do anything until October 31st and then work on this? I agree with going out to hire a police officer now. I mean, it's going to take a while. You don't know how long that's going to take.
Yeah.
And, October 31st is just quite a long time away. Vince, or Rick does need to learn all this, and Vince is gone the end of the year. So I really think that we need to push it a little bit more, or at least schedule some things to happen before October 31st.
I wholeheartedly agree with the sentiment shared so far, and the packet details each one of those steps. So the hiring of a new officer, the SRO consideration, all our steps we're asking council to take from today's appointment to the 31st, which was the deadline for double duty. So we're all speaking the same language unless I'm missing something, which is we have bullets we need to achieve to allow him to not be double duty, which includes hiring an officer, having an SRO coverage if Trush is a future. So yes, and all those motions lie with council. So if you made the motion today of double duty until the 31st, which is what I heard the motion was revised to, that aligns with the transition plan. And then you could make a separate motion today, if you so choose, on hiring an officer or any other, which is all in the transition plan for your packet.
Yes, I just want to make sure, because I'm agreeing with Rob, and I think that we need to, step it up a little bit. We kind of do start, past administrations I'm talking about, we started dragging our feet, and then we didn't do anything. So I just want to make sure, and I know that you will not do that, but we want to be on a path.
100%. And that's why we put so much work into the transition plan for you all tonight, which details every one of the steps you've just highlighted. So yes, I think we're all speaking the same language unless anybody feels like anything's missing from that transition plan. So the transition plan involved hiring a new officer, SRO considerations, applications for the next chief. I think we're on the same page.
Okay, so we can make a motion tonight to hire a police officer.
Chief, please defer, but like a posting of an application or whatever you need, however you want that
We wouldn't be
framed.
making a motion to hire, but we could make a motion to allow me to post a position.
Yeah, there you go.
If you make a motion to allow me to post a position, then we could start the interview process, the background process.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
still don't have to make an offer to anybody.
Until you're
But it
ready.
would be very nice to, if we had that motion tonight, that would allow me to start, the process
Love
of
that.
sending that out. And also, at that point, we may get, okay, if the applications come in, we do interviews, and it's two seasoned, two people that are seasoned, have experience, coming from other agencies, and it's turnkey. Well, now, we still have a couple-month field training program, but we can move that along faster. If it's somebody with no experience from here and doesn't know our computer systems, then it's a 3 to 4 month field training process. So, with the probation process. Ideally, I'd love to have somebody, again, that comes with a little experience. It'd be great, but you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, I know Rockwood went through posting and was really worried they weren't gonna get any candidates, and some cities, unfortunately, they're just not getting the 250 applications you used to get for a job. It's down to 1 or 2 or 3, and everybody is competitive now. All the police departments are competitive with hiring.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why we should start now.
Yes.
I mean,
Agreed.
we don't know how long it's gonna take.
Agreed. Yeah, I think we're all 100% on the same page, if I'm hearing correctly, which is, council, you have the motion for any of those actions, and all those actions are detailed in your packet for this evening. The goal is just to assemble to make sure no base left uncovered.
Okay?
Awesome. So I think there was where are we at, Katie? We had a motion on the table that was revised.
To appoint Rick Tangway as city administrator and police chief, doing double duty from July 1st until October 31st.
All right, so council, you have a revised motion that includes the timeline that was in your packet. Is there a second for that revised motion? And then we'll open
I
up for
seconded
discussion. So Cosmore seconded. So right now you have the motion that aligns with the proposal of October 31st deadline for double duty, and you have the transition items. Treasurer Fonte, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the ascension of the next police chief. And is he undergoing training now?
There's no next police chief, so so when the mayor mentioned the name Sergeant Trushman, no matter, if the 2 people that put in for it last time put in again, which I suspect they will, that is gonna involve, whoever gets it out of those 2 would involve a move of Sergeant Trush, because one's a lieutenant. So if that lieutenant were to get the position, then Sergeant Trush would move to that lieutenancy. So there's all these different pieces of the puzzle. So, but Sergeant Trush currently is in a police executive developmental training plan.
So is there any chance of losing these employees because of this timeline here?
No, actually, I
Or if
think
he
they-
gets trained and he takes his education of training and goes somewhere else?
nope.
You know, I
100%.
I fear that if you don't lock somebody in today's market, that
He's got 7 years in the pension system till he can retire. And he's not gonna walk away from his pension here, and most of them aren't, they're gonna
well, if
get,
he leaves the pension here, he can't take that pension anywhere else?
you have to wait till his 25th year of service to start drawing.
And there's ongoing training, which is referenced in your packet as well, that would be obviously progressing as we speak.
Both the employees over the police department, the command lieutenants and the sergeants, and you may even see when you post the position, depending on the ranking you put in, you may get somebody else who puts in too. So, I'm not sure who all would be interested, but, hopefully we get 2 or 3 internal candidates. And I mentioned to the mayor, the downfall is both, the 2 that put in for it last time now both work Monday through Friday jobs at most of the year, and make pretty good money still being in the union, with overtime opportunities. So it's also a consideration to know when we post that position, what the financial package is, and if it's financially good for them. I mean, when I was in Trenton, I made a lot more money than the chief, because I got to work overtime as a lieutenant. And I worked Monday through Friday, so my answer to that position at chief was, no, thank you.
So we have pretty awesome loyalty within our police department and city services. Which that retention that we have here is kind of a perk for us going into hiring. It shows the culture that we have here is one that people, once they come on board, they stick around.
100%.
So I don't think we have a fear of losing people. We have a wonderful loyalty thus far.
Do we need to post it now, though?
I think posting, yeah, I think posting it between now and the next meeting from now for a future, or for a appointment effective November 1st is a goal. And whether it's this meeting or next meeting, I think it needs to get posted, from my perspective, sooner than later. One of the things that I think we have to consider that is with the negotiation with the collective bargaining agreements, I'm not sure how that works with the bargaining representatives that are on the police department, but that's something that we have to have a keen eye on for, if there's any transition that takes somebody from a current bargaining unit and promotes them basically to the other side of the equation. So,
The two senior guys in the department are both part of that group.
Yep.
There's only a three-man union.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be tough, but that may be another reason to delay until that contract's settled before we post. I don't expect that to be that long. That may be another good reason to just say, let them settle, so there is no, if they put in for a position that's posted, that may lead them to where they have to step. Now you're negotiating with one man.
And I'm thinking out loud, what if we started interviewing internal candidates and we posed, those questions on timelines and interactions such as that?
First and foremost,
Negotiations.
before you go, I mean, the first thing you gotta do if you check off the boxes, you gotta sit down with Amy or the financial, Mr. Fonte, and figure out how much we can pay, what our target is to pay for that position, with paying what, because we have a number for me too, with that number. And then where that city engineer falls in. So you're gonna wanna have all those numbers, and then obviously the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that, we've seen what they're asking, but we don't know what that's gonna come into play. So I don't know, maybe we sit down and make it, a board of this, pull this off the board. I mean, to me, first, I love the fact of posting for the new hire right tonight. I'd jump up and down and be super excited about that. We get that step done, and then maybe we, take a few weeks and come back and make that next decision, and hopefully we're by contract then. I would hate to do something like with the union part of it, but the new hire would be an easy one.
Yeah, and if we have the
And somebody
motion,
mentioned earlier about SRO and the training of the SRO. My intentions are to go to the union, but we did have two people put in for it last time, and both were chosen by the school. Either one would have been great, so I'm gonna ask the union if they wanna allow that to still go, or they wanna repost. If they wanna repost, we'll go through interviews with the school, but they may just say, hey, he put in last time, it's only been a few months, let's let him.
And did he go through the SRO training?
No, but that's, we've already got 2 dates for that. One's this summer, which would be a little tough to do. The next one would be in October. So we already looked for the dates for that. It's not so the grant doesn't require it.
In that, in the agreement?
Yeah, it's not required, but to start, but it will have to come at some point.
Okay.
But it's not, to start, you can start without it.
Got it.
And they offer it many different times.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you don't have to have it day one.
And when I was originally under the impression that you had to have it day one, I thought that we should probably put 2 people through that, just in case the event that somebody gets injured, somebody leaves, or something like that happens.
And they take all that into consideration if someone got injured and all that. And they take into consideration the timing of the class, the timing of your appointment.
Yeah.
Trenton replaced theirs in January 1 year.
Okay.
And she had to wait till summer to go to class.
Okay.
So it's,
So that's not an urgency, okay, well, good
I
to
mean,
know.
it'll be an urgency for me. I mean, if you've seen any training I can get them to is important.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be an urgency, and if we can get them to a training, I mean, I think there's one coming up, but, the cost of the travel and hotel would be outrageous compared to the other ones in Michigan.
Understood.
I like it. And then we have that question around contracts, we have the special meeting already motioned for July 8th. So that would probably inform where council's headspace is around going back to the union representatives. So if we wanted focus on a July 8th discussion or 22nd at latest for that posting of the chief, that would allow us to have assurance that we've arrived at a mutual understanding from a contract perspective.
In one of my original proposals I sent to the mayor when we went back and forth at events was to target that first Monday in January as the start of the chief, because no matter what, we knew, no matter what I map out, that one of, Sergeant Trush would be moving. Whether, you know, if it's one of those two guys, he's gonna have to move, because he'd be the next lieutenant then. That's the Christmas break, that's the first Monday back after Christmas break, it's an easy transition into the school, it made a lot of sense. You know, obviously, if we could target, you know, the first September, the first Monday in September would be great, but that's gonna really push our timeline. So then I started looking like, okay, this would probably help the timeline, and it may still be a process where if we pit that November date, we're not prepared, then there may be some time for that officer to train with that person who's replacing him for a couple weeks or a month. And my goal would be, obviously, if we're targeting this and we have the time, then, you know, if the officer can maybe slide in there and work with him during the day shift while that's going on, if we know. So there's a lot of different factors here. And if this was a large department, we wouldn't have all these factors. We'd be like, oh, we're just gonna we're good. We've got many bodies.
Yeah, but, and with all the different things at play, you know, and I know, we still have to make the decisions and have to pick and throw a dart, and the new SRO officers could train with SROC too. You know, I would think that would be an opportunity for training.
Which, you know, depending on the moves, he may be involved in a move too,
Sure, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, the next lieutenant,
Yeah,
yeah.
depending on the rank. So there's so many different little, and the last thing I want to do is pull my most experienced dual resource officer out right in the middle. So, yeah, and so there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
I think we got to step to, you know.
But they're all definite things, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah, it's all going to get done.
Well, I mean, all definite in terms of, you know, all these things are at play, they're gonna be at play no matter what. They're gonna be at play today versus a week from now or 6 weeks from now, the play is gonna be the same.
Yes, except for the fact of having some things in place, like with the new hire. If we know, if we get that, I can get that person. Now I'm the road coverage would be very, if we got an extra body to cover the road and cover, now we can start pulling off that road coverage.
Yeah.
Pulling off. That's how we gotta think. That position on the road is the most, and, you know, without trying to fill it with overtime, and we could fill, but the way we work our shifts, I mean, they're 12-hour shifts and you get a couple days off, and if you're, I think we started to burn out. Our youngest guy, Jacob, was working a lot of overtime and he had to slow it down a little bit, so.
I love this discussion. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor with a second for double duty till deadline of October 31st. So unless there's further discussion on that motion, let's have Katie call roll. Is there any further discussion on that motion? And then if council has other motions for officer posting, et cetera, we can get to those after this motion's closed. Any other discussion on the resolution for a time-bound deadline of the 31st of October? Katie, can you read the motion to make sure council has it correct?
To adopt the resolution to appoint Richard Tangway as city administrator and police chief, doing the double duty from July 1st, 2024 through October 31st, 2024.
Great. And that's seconded by Cosmore. Okay, discussion's been had. Any other discussion? Katie, please call roll.
Mulner?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Motion carried. Chief Tangway, congratulations on your appointment to city administrator.
With help with Vince.
We are incredibly grateful for you stepping up when the city needed most and for managing double duty as we rapidly progress the action items that will hopefully mitigate your double duty. And Vince, just profusely, I know I've said it probably like a broken record now, but we wouldn't be here without you, and very grateful for that.
We'll talk about that.
The next discussion before we get to Vince in regards to item number 2 on the list was if council had any other motions related to the discussion we just had.
Because I wanted to make a motion for, to post a position for a police officer.
Second.
Second by Molnar.
Yes.
Chief, does that give you the description you need to post? Did you hear the motion? It was,
I'm sorry.
Katie, can you read that motion just to make sure Chief's
Post
aligned
a
with the
job
language?
opening for a police officer.
That's all I need.
All right. Council, any discussion?
I want to know the budget. We have that budgeted, we have it, money for it?
Well, we have chief pulling double duty, which means he's gonna be pulling probably from the city administrator salary now, which means we have an opening in the police thing for another police officer.
There's going to be an opening.
Okay.
Awesome. So, and obviously, this is just the posting, so we will work on all the details. Council will have a whole packet of information, applicants, reviews, all that, for any formal hiring decision. Just want to be clear on that. Okay,
Hence, she'll have to know, obviously, it'd be great for her to know about lateral pay if the person comes with experience and all that.
Precisely.
All those comes into play, so that's why before we pull that trigger, we gotta make sure Amy knows.
And for your position, you're just going from the chief's salary plus a 4%, and then we're gonna discuss further later on,
Once
correct?
the contracts are negotiated.
So, yeah, so he's just moving to a different GL number essentially, so that GL number is now free.
awesome. Okay, any other discussion before Katie calls roll?
Counting talk, sorry.
Katie, please call roll.
Schumate?
Yes.
Galentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar?
Yes.
Great, so that motion's carried, so please, you have your direction on getting that posting. I'm really excited about the applicant pool, and I agree entirely, the culture you've built, I think it's gonna be very attractive to people coming to this gym.
We'll get it out probably on social media right away while I'm on vacation this week, and we'll move from, we don't even need it after that.
I love this. Okay. Any other motions or discussions related to this topic? Obviously, you have a lot of transition items detailed in your packet, one of which was hiring an officer, so that ball's progressing. Anything else that you want to motion on for this evening related to this position? All right, thank you for raising the planning and DDA stuff. Just a couple thoughts there, just so that we're all on the same page. And Councilwoman Wood can attest to this. We had some challenges with our city planner, as everybody's well aware. Council had motioned for McKenna to absorb that interim responsibility. Jane Dixon, who is from McKenna, this is all in your packet and previous discussions, came with Sam, as well as a gentleman named Michael. Think about Jane Dixon as like our primary point for city planner. Michael, I don't know, Vince, how you describe his role, but I'm sorry, Michael, if you're listening.
Economic development.
All right, so like economic development, and so he's gonna be like operationalizing and supporting some of the work, but obviously Jane's our primary contact. Councilwoman Wood sat in that discussion. So Councilman Molnar, to that discussion, I think we'll have a planner that hopefully is an expert and a strategic partner in the operation for planning to work with Vince and Chief and Katie and council on that. As far as the project you referred to on the horse front, that was just an issue with the public notice timing, so that couldn't be addressed at that meeting, so just an error on the public notice timing. But is there any other agenda items we missed? I just want to make sure we have that discussion, because you referred to other agenda items. I know the horse was one, but we couldn't hold that without the public notice in time, so was there any other items that we missed?
Public hearing was for the RV park.
Okay.
That was that you mentioned.
Oh, okay, perfect. So,
And then there was, whatever, I don't even know where we're at with the fitness center. I have no clue. It's the never-ending saga.
I need to get back with your architect on what's allowable in there, so.
Yeah, and it's been public meeting, and then it was delayed for, there's just not a lot of clarity there.
all right, so let's make sure, council, if there's any issues or agenda items that you don't feel is progressing, let's hear about it, so that we make sure we account for that accordingly. But I'm excited. Councilwoman Wood, did you have anything to add from the meeting we had with McKenna today, just on transition planning?
No, I'm just happy that we have somebody different.
They seem to be very excited, and so Katie and Chief and Vince are working on how we look at the kind of process flow chart. So that'll help with, like, if you're an applicant, developer, whomever, how do you go through the process to go to planning and DDA or ZBA? Look at the timing for information requirements, meaning like how they provide Katie information that goes into the packet. Look at some of the bigger projects, like the zoning ordinance language updates. So like we have obviously a committee that's been established for that, but how we're looking at that, as well as some of the broader like sub-planning for downtown development, given the budget considerations there. So I'm really excited about it, and hopefully that evolves our approach to be as efficient and effective as possible with a really good expert partner as we go through the broader process. Any other comments, questions on that? All right, Vince, back to you on the,
I'm going to tell you, I don't want to consider this item. I'm going to tell you, and I'm looking at Mr. Molnar, I'm blowing through another summer here, and it's not appreciated, and I'm not going to get insulted wasting another summer because I don't put enough hours into it, and, you know, I don't even want to I don't want to consider it any further. I've never been insulted publicly like that for dropping the ball on something where I'm working only a handful of hours, and considering everything else that's been going on that's been addressed, it's not worth it for $60 an hour when I can be making probably twice that much somewhere else. I've only been here because I've liked the people. I know the organization needs help, but if my work is not appreciated, not respected, then what's the point?
If I insulted you?
Darn right you did.
I
We, the
sincerely-
administration dropped the ball. You could have had the meeting. You guys did fire your planning consultant. That didn't help matters. On top of
Well,
that,
certainly-
no, let me finish. You know, kicking the can down the road, if you look at my career, the last thing I do is kick things down the road. Things do get accomplished, but they get accomplished in a thoughtful, orderly manner that it ensures that it's successful. I think in some ways, I remember an old quote from an engineer, if you want it badly, that's how you're gonna get it. I just think that, you know, up top of I can live with the other part, but the other part of the insult is what just galls me.
Well, sincerely appreciate everything that you've put forward, and
I just don't want it to consider any further. Let's just end it right there, okay?
I felt like the comment you made was directed at the lack of him doing his responsibility. I don't think that's a testament to what Vince has brought to the community, and I think you're raising via the public mic issues that could have been addressed offline versus using this as a forum to vocalize concerns that I don't think were substantiated or fully representative of Vince's hard work for the community.
not my intent at all, so, yeah, if it came off that way, that's not my intention.
I felt it.
Again, not my intention, I don't know what you want me to do to.
Nothing,
Yeah,
nothing.
It's fine, it wasn't my intention.
I think Vince has been a great partner offline and always receptive and sitting in that office working his butt off. And if there's discussions on gaps, let's have them with the parties that have that, not using a mic to raise those publicly for the first time. With that being said, let's turn over to resident survey. Resident survey is going to be all captured in your packet. Katie, big shout out. Thanks for your support in assembling that flyer. So council, you'll see, obviously we've talked about this quite a bit, but the survey link was updated. The survey link was updated to include your short-term rental question. So that was, thank you, Councilwoman Cosmore, for the work on that front. And I think we got that tailored to assess short-term rental perspectives across the community. I also got a QR code built, so that's obviously in your flyer. So council, all this is described here, but we'll have a surround sound approach for disseminating the survey, which I'm really excited about. The flyer was intended to be for your review. So do you like the text is the question that I'd like to be answered today. Meaning there's two pockets of text in there that I think helps kind of represent what we're hoping to accomplish with the survey and how we're going to position the community. And then the branding or the design, big thanks to Katie, could be used. So I want you to think about this. Today, I want you to make sure you like the text, right? The text will then be pulled into different formats. So if Katie wants to do a social post, like we talked about, right? If we want to put in our tax bill, we're not going to be able to probably put the whole flyer in there, right? But we could take the text and the QR code to fit whatever size or format we need for a tax bill dissemination. So really the goal is, we got all the work done. It's been reviewed thoroughly. We have a survey link. We have posting on our Gibraltar Facebook page, posting on our website. I would encourage council and any sort of personnel to share amongst your friends, your community, your street, to surround sound. We'll have flyers at City Hall on any businesses that want to support that. We'll have flyers at the 4th of July festivities. And we'll have resident volunteers that have already publicly said, hey, I'd love to support, door-to-door distribution in certain streets or pockets of our neighborhood. So I feel really good about the dissemination plan. So council, take a minute. Now's your chance. Do you want to tweak any of the text that I've put in front of you for our city survey?
I think you did a good job. I like it. It's good.
Do you like it?
I already completed it, sent it in.
Look at you, ahead of the ball. I like it. Okay,
So how many times can you send this in?
how many times can you send it in?
Yeah. Does it,
so
it
it-
doesn't limit you to one
It-
person?
Yeah, so, well, we'd like each resident to complete. The IP, so the IP, from what I understand, Treasurer Fonte, if this is the root of your question.
Yeah.
The Survey Monkey can tell the IP address it's coming from.
And it'll
So-
kick
Because every
it-
machine
it'll-
has
it'll-
its own unique IP address.
So it'll,
Kick you out.
so it'll basically say you've already completed this or something along that.
If I do it on a different.
You do it
IP.
on a different survey link. Sometimes it's gonna be hard for us to control that type of behavior, frankly speaking, no matter what you do.
You can't put an address on there?
Well, we'll have hard copies, so somebody could do an electronic and a hard copy anyways. It's hard to mitigate somebody who wants to duplicate their survey responses. But if you're that engaged and want to fill it out twice, then I appreciate you for that.
There's a lot out there that do that.
Okay, so council, any objections to that? And if not, the goal is I want to work with all of our personnel so that July 1st, we fire away. So July 1st, Amy, go ahead.
If we want to put it with our tax bills, we kind of need an idea sooner because we have to be able to print it and stuff it.
I talked to Mary today as she was printing said tax bills, and we'll work to figure out what format we need. But I want to make sure we're, so approve tax tonight, and then Amy, I'll work with you and Mary to get
Perfect.
that incorporated.
I'd volunteer also to hand them out door to door, whatever you need. Whatever neighborhood too, I don't care.
Awesome. I like it. Okay, any final feedback on resident survey? All right, that'll close our resident survey. Council, any questions or comments or feedback from me on, I think I've covered everything in my report. All right, council reports. Councilman Valentine, talk to us about Recreation Commission.
Next Music in the Park date will be July 11th, and the band will be 5 Towns Down. You guys will be there and stay frosty ice cream cart. Don't forget, this is our 60th year for the July 4th. It's a 3-day event. July 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and Movie in the Park is August 28th. That's my report.
Awesome. Any questions for Councilman Valentine on recreation activities? Got a lot of exciting things. It's hard to believe 4th of July is so close. I'm sure we'll hear more from Tammy today about that. Councilwoman Cosmore, take us through your representation.
My list. Okay. As far as for the Alliance of Downriver Watershed and the 33rd District Court, I do not have a report for either one of those. For the Rotary, just a reminder that they still have duck tickets for sale, which are $5 each. Sportsman's cards, or raffle cards are $20 each. You can get them at City Hall, at Riches, or any Rotary member. Don't forget the duck race is on August 10th. And for the Kiwanis, we will be very busy on the 4th of July. We will be doing the bingo inside of the community center. This is a fundraiser. This is how we make our money to help do the things we do within the community. We also will be running, this is the first time we've done it, we're going to be running a cutest pet contest, but that is only with animals' pictures. You're not bringing your animal in. You're going to send your picture to us, and then we're going to be a board, and you vote by putting money in the jar if you think that animal's the cutest. And all that money raised will go to, like I said, to help run our programs. And the top 3 winners will be determined by the money, and they will get a medal, a little dog medal, or cat medal, whatever, a little medal to wear. So this is something new we're going to try this year, so we hope to come out and see. I will be running a booth outside, so I will also hand out surveys at our Kiwanis booth if you want one of them out there.
Do you have a link for the cutest pet contest? 'Cause
Yes,
I
I can
could
give you
put it on
two.
our website.
Okay.
Sure, it'll get a lot of action.
Yeah, I've already got quite a few pictures coming in, and Mr. Crowlington will be in it also from the school. And also, the last thing that we will be doing, we always do a bike decorating clinic for the kids before the parade on the 4th of July. So if they come and find, I'm not exactly sure yet where they're gonna put us. We'll probably be in between the fire station and the police station. Our car will be there, and we will have all the things the kids need to decorate. So I'll make sure to put our flag out there so you can find us. And if the kids want to ride around behind us, they're more than welcome. We just need an adult with them to make sure, they're safe and they go back to your adult. But we will have everything they need to decorate their bikes with, or their wagons with, or whatever they bring. And I think that's it.
Love it. Lots
So
going
it'll be a
on.
busy day that day.
Thank you so much for the updates. Any questions for Councilwoman Cosmore? All right, Councilwoman Wood, talk to us about beautification in Historical Museum.
Okay, beautification is very hot and tiring. Hopefully, our plans are going to survive. we're doing the best we can, watering, weeding, whatever, using court workers, whoever will help. And I want to thank Sheila Bilk for just helping. She's always out there helping no matter what. I mean, she weeds every single tiny little one that she can find, and she's been watering and using the gator, and, you know, that's a little bit of a project. But that's all we have for beautification. It's just been hot.
Well, thank you for working in the heat to make our city beautiful. Appreciate it.
And the museum will be open July 7th from 2 to 4, and that's usually a good month to come because there are a lot of people that are out of town. They come back to visit, and they like to reminisce and look through the museum and remember things. So we usually have a good turnout on that day.
Awesome.
That's it.
Thanks for all you're doing. Councilwoman Wood, any questions for her?
Well, actually, I just wanted to say something when,
Yeah, please.
because I forgot to thank Bill. I wanted to thank Bill for teaching the kids on Saturday, the water safety class, because I had to leave early. Yeah, the kids are great. I love the kids. But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for doing that for the Kiwanis on Saturday. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Councilman Cox, talk to us about planning and DDA.
No report.
Awesome. Any questions for Councilman Cox? Councilman McNabb, I know you gave us an update, but want to share waterways?
Yeah, the procurement status on the weed harvester has changed a little bit. Commissioner Basham did not pull enough funds together for the cost of the weed harvester. Commissioner Garza has raised an additional $25,000 for the weed harvester at this point. Before I say anything else, I'm going to wait until I talk to him this week to find out where we are on it. The harvester we have right now is full of weeds and broken. So we're at a point now where we have to get it pulled out of the water and work on that.
Okay.
Hopefully we can get this thing running because the weeds don't stop growing.
Yep.
And that's where we're at right now. Our last meeting, everybody was in attendance the last meeting, and this was one of the things we were discussed on how old the machine is and where we're at.
Is there anything we can do to support you in regards to near-term fix for the existing system? Because I know the weeds are getting quite thick out there.
Yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
It's dead in the water on Adams right now. We got to get it out. We got to clear the weeds off of it and
Okay.
get it running. It's like an old lawnmower. It just needs work, only bigger.
Well, I know it's a critical part of the community, obviously,
Very
for the
critical.
operation, especially during the summer. So please let us know how we can help.
I discussed this with Commissioner Garza, how important this is, and he's making his way to figure out whether we're going to be taking it through the Downriver Community Conference. We'll get through them. I talked with Vince today, and it sounds like it might just come right into our hands if we can get it through them. If not, we're really going to need it because it's going to choke the canals if
Yep.
we don't get it running. So we'll find out more tomorrow.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
If you'd be willing to send an update when you find out, just to all council, and then whatever we need to do to help support you, sooner the better.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Any questions for Councilman McNabb?
He needs a trailer?
No, not at this point. They'll probably pull it up and block it up. I'd like to just get the thing running and get it operating.
Oh, I have your oil, you know it delivered, right?
Yeah, I used it. We put 5-gallon jugs in it.
Okay.
The line is fixed. It was operating, but it only made it to Adams. It's an old air-cooled German engine, I understand, and we're gonna be looking into getting it running, and we gotta be able to make this thing operate for hopefully this summer.
I've worked on it quite often.
Yeah.
Have you been a part of this?
Yeah, the late Jeff Cook and myself did the weed harvesting in the town for a while.
No, I know that, but have you been a part of the recent discussions?
No.
Do you mind pulling Bill in just for the sake of another set of eyes on this, since he's had a lot of experience in that lane?
Yeah.
Bill,
I still have a lot of parts laying around.
if you don't mind being voluntold to
not.
help,
That's the problem. You gotta make everything.
thanks for getting involved.
Thank you, Bill.
Any questions for Councilman McNabb? Councilman Molnar?
I'd just like to say that I regret that my comments were taken as an insult. It was not my intention. And my intention was to state the heavy burden that the city administrator holds and the amount of attention that a full-time person would have to dedicate their energy to. So at no point was anything that I said meant with any insult. I have nothing but the greatest level of gratitude working with Vince Pastu, and I wish it to continue in some capacity. Again, regret that it was taken as an insult. That's all I have.
All right. Parks and Recreation Director Goris, if you don't mind coming to the podium, make sure that light's green for us, and look forward to hear from you and all that's going on in your world.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. 9 days left to the 4th of July for the festivities to start. The 3rd of July is crafters, vendors, beer tent, carnival, and music. And then on the 4th is the parade, the awards, the music, the beer tent, the bingo, the craft show, food vendors, carnival all day, and fireworks at dark. Carlson Marching Band will be there parking cars in the baseball field. It's a fundraiser. They will also have a golf cart to get the handicap to the front door or the entrance of the beer tent. And on Friday, the carnival runs from 12 till 10. The Navarre Street parking will be the south side of Navarre will be no parking from 8 a.m. until midnight because of the fire trucks, ambulances, police cars going up and down that road for the fireworks. I will be sending letters out to the neighbors. I'll be walking the neighborhood this week and handing letters out for everybody on Navarre. And that's all I have.
And that letter's going to addresses where they can use parking, right? So
Yes.
so there's parking available for them. We're going to let them use, and hopefully they're guests and can use that parking.
The band will park them on the far side of the Cook Center parking lot. That's where Navarre Street parking will be. And
That's
there'll
free.
be no charge for the Navarre Street parking. Not their guests and everybody else, but just the residents.
So how early can you park? That's me. So how early-
Everybody's parking their car over there really early.
Really, yeah, because I know I gotta be, to pray where, where I'm
Yeah.
doing stuff. Okay.
They'll be there Thursday or Wednesday night, putting up the stakes and marking the field, so
Kinda
you
like it
can
were
talk
last
to them
year.
then. Yep. That's all I have, if anybody has any questions.
Like your shirt.
Thanks.
Any questions for Parks and Recreation Director Goris? All right, City Attorney, talk to us.
I have nothing to report.
Are you having fun in Gibraltar?
I'm having a blast.
All right, good to hear.
Every time gets better.
All right, great. Vince, floor is yours.
Just added to the solid waste proposal is that we got the proposal from McKenna for the zoning ordinance and hope to have that to the council at the July 8th meeting.
Awesome. Thank you so much for all the work on that. Any questions for Vince? Clerk Tomasic,
No report.
Treasurer Fonte.
Just a special shout out to Vince, Amy, and the administrative staff in-house, Chelsea and Mary, for helping me limp along and learn. Everybody has been very outgoing with all my questions, and I do have a lot of them. So it's been a pleasurable experience. Been taking notes. I'll have questions, and I'll share these with council at a later date. Thank you.
I appreciate all the hard work you put into it, and hats off too to Chelsea and Mary, because I know they've been in office working with you closely on all things Treasurer Fonte immersion, so appreciate it. Any questions for Treasurer Fonte? All right, well, let's pass it over to your right to Finance Director McEwen.
Attached is the fourth quarter budget revision. This will be closing up the current fiscal year, which ends at the end of this week. Attached is a revision to amend several funds for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Included in the report, the budget is the budget and balance in each fund for the fiscal year ending in 2023, the original budget amount, the amended budget amount from the third quarter, the current amount that has been used, and the suggested revision amount. I have kind of color-coded it to show increases, decreases. I have like some that are in yellow to show what has to match, expenses have to match revenues. And also continuing to highlight between the revenues and expenditures to make it kind of quicker for your eye to see going between the two. Observations are that I had to adjust a few accounts to match what came in for revenues. I also changed a few amounts based on updated reports that have now been released. I increased inspections and building based on what we've been receiving. That's kind of still a moving target for me since this is our first year having building in-house in quite a long time. The majority of our departments under the general fund are trending within budget. Kudos to all of those department heads for making that possible. For the most part, the budget adjustments for the other funds are pretty small. I did adjust interest amounts a little bit due to where they're trending and any excess revenues that we have contributed to our fund balances, i.e. our savings accounts. So I was trying to predict it, see what was going to happen. It's kind of like you're looking in this crystal ball, and I know it seems like it's only a week, but it's actually kind of like a month and a week, and you're trying to predict where everything's going to hit. So I would be looking for a motion to approve the final fourth quarter budget revision. And that is all. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns. I'm rambling.
Council, thank you, Amy. Council, a motion would be in your order for approval of the fourth quarter budget revision for full year 23-24.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Cosmore, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wood. Council, any discussion? Katie, please call roll.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes. Motion carried. Amy, thanks for all your hard work there.
Okay.
Anything else on your end?
No.
Council, any questions for Finance Director? All right, Police Chief Tangway, floor is yours.
Thank you. For you tonight is the Police Department report. I did a quick report before I left for vacation. I'm still on vacation, by the way. And you'll see that our numbers for May of 2023, May of 24 comparisons. Since I was gone, I just checked my office today. I received a letter from 33rd District Court showing our May fines and cost, which is par. They're usually a little bit behind getting it to us. But this month, we, as usual, we budget $68.50, and we owe $1,661.67. So we're well down on that again. So the court costs are in a great shape. I have also put in the packet, we began a review of all traffic control orders. I'm not looking for any action items at this point. I just wanted council to be aware of, these are the traffic control orders that we found in a police department file and the city clerk's file. Not all the same, so we've now combined them into one document. And we will start working our way through and making future motions to remove anything we need to do. But we're all in one spot now, which took a little time to do. So I just wanted you to have that and be aware of that. And you can see some of the signed agreements and everything I put in the packet for your review also. I have two action items tonight. Action item one is the school resource officer agreement. It's signed yearly, and so I'm looking for a motion to approve and sign that agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the.
Motion by Cosmore, is there a second?
Second.
Second by McNabb. Any discussion?
I'll just say how valuable that role is.
Seriously, immense
I mean,
work and impact.
before I retired, I worked every day with our Officer Seifert, so it's like, he does an awesome job. He really does.
He's in the right seat right now, and we really appreciate it. And they do more than just police reports, and everybody's afraid of them, but they do a lot.
Yeah, above and beyond, thank you. Any other discussion? Katie, please call roll.
Wood?
Yes.
Cox?
Yes.
Cosmore?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Mulnar?
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
The second, it's not an action item, it's more of a discussion item. Just wanted council to be aware, I was hoping to have it by July 1st, but we've got pushed back a little bit with our dispatch negotiations and some other stuff going on with city administrator role. But Chief Kane, myself, and Cindy began working on a wage scale. So we're hoping by the next council meeting that we bring you a document like the one you're looking at that'll be finalized, that spells out how the fire department is paid from year to year. So Amy's been involved in it. We just believe that this wage scale would be kind of like the contract for the volunteer fire department, the paid-on-call fire department. So it just, everybody knows what they're paid. There's no questionable areas, and other cities do it. So we started this process, and then Cindy went on administrative leave. So I just wanted you to see what we're working on, and we hope to have something back to you for the next council meeting on that note. But I'll take any questions on it if you have any.
I just appreciate all the work, and Chief Kane, to you and the department, obviously, for the partnership, but to Chief Tangway, just for all the work that you've done on this broader topic and empowering our department to have the right processes, procedures, and payroll considerations in place. So thank you. And Chief Kane, thanks for your partnership every step of the way.
Lastly, why I was gone, and I figured somebody from council would have brought it up. It probably didn't hit your desk yet, but why I was gone, an air conditioning unit went out in the police department / fire department hallway, fire chief's office, and the fitness area, the locker rooms where the officers change. An emergency repair was approved by, I believe, it looks like, it was prepared by Lieutenant Bullard, and Amy and Vince worked on this to get it approved. It's going to cost $5,137, and the funds were available in building and grounds maintenance. Is that correct, Amy?
Yeah.
This documents were also on my desk. They did a good job of keeping me out of this. I had one phone call with Vince on my vacation, and he asked me how it was going, and I had no idea it was going. So that's even better. But I just want council to be aware that that is being done, and it's through our normal service vendor. And I'm not a heating and cooling person, but it looks like they're getting a full new compressor, a 5-ton AC unit is what it says here. So, and it's on the roof, so it involves a crane. And then I have nothing else in my packet. The only thing I would like to state is I would really like me accepting the administrator role really was easy with Vince being on board. So I would really hope that we can move forward past what happened tonight and keep Vince on board somehow, because I'm going to need him in my court. So I just wanted to state that.
I couldn't agree anymore. You deserve nothing but respect, and if that was violated tonight, then you don't deserve that. And I just hope you know, one of the highlights of my day is walking in and seeing you and knowing that we're in a good spot. And what you've done for the city, we will be forever better off because of it. So no matter what you choose, we respect, but just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. All right, Chief Kane.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. One thing with HVAC being replaced, toward the employees that park in that back parking lot, with that crane being brought in, you might not want to park there. We will let you know what day they're going to be here, so you guys can park out front or on the fire side and walk across through the building. But you just might, I don't know how long that crane will be there, so if you leave, or same thing with the police cars that are there, we might want to move them.
Great call. Thank you.
The fire department activity from June 6th through June 20th, there were 26 total calls. 2 were fires, 24 were rescues, 3 were mutual aids for personnel, and there are no auto aids. And that's for the fire department.
Awesome.
One thing I have for the DPW, well, maybe 2, if we're all for discussion. If you're want to go out for a hire, I'd be more than happy to look for another DPW guy. Just sort of throwing that one out there.
I think it's important. Thank you for raising that. I know there's been a lot of discussion around how we best resource. I congratulate you and the team for filling your part-time and seasonal work, for building what's seemingly a great culture amongst that group of individuals, and most importantly, for how y'all have came together to take care of the city. So, as you saw in the transition plan, one area is to look at DPW, obviously, in context of this role, and how we make sure that we're set up for success. So, I know you're raising it now live, but know that that's been an active discussion.
I know it has, but we were looking to hire somebody. I figured I'd throw that one out there too.
I appreciate it.
Why not? And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Chief Kane?
I did forget, Chief Kane's going to work Wednesday. We're going to have some people, Gorno Ford puts on an employee luncheon for all city employees. They'd like to do it at local police departments, fire departments. The fire department has hosted last year. They're going to host again this year. And I reminded him today, because we've both had a lot going on, that we're going to set that up on Wednesday. And I believe setup's at 11, lunch is at 11:30, 12. I'll come back in for that, and Bill said he'll be able to get some people to help, I hope. All right.
Really appreciate that. Any other questions or comments for Chief Kane? No unfinished business tonight, no new business tonight, no table and referred items. So with that, we're going to open up for our public comment, back half of the sandwich. So public comment, please make sure that light is green for us, and then make sure that you state your name and address.
Justice Walden, 30726 Adams. Obviously, I kind of saw what happened tonight, and I just want to say that I'm kind of in agreement with Rob as far as the payload that comes with the city administrator spot. Vince, you've been awesome. You know, we've been sitting here watching you. Just looking at it from a different perspective as well. With his payload that he's going to be taking on, there's a couple other departments that are going to have effects with that. So the more help that he can get, you'd be benefiting a lot more people. So I hope whatever happened tonight doesn't push you away. And the other concern that I raised is kind of what Rob had as well. Having that date, I don't want to see the DPS get overbeared or overwhelmed, and I don't want to see him take on too much workload, because at the end of the day, one or the other side could suffer. And unfortunately, I'm on one side of that, and I don't want to see us suffer. So again, I hear you, and congratulations. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
I love that. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Any other public comment this evening?
Sean LaFleur, 30744 Adams. I just want to sort of reiterate, but with a little twist. I appreciate you staying. I know what it's like to work your tail off. And not that you're doing it for credit. But then, you know, we got to be careful what we say. We got to be careful with delivery. I know what it's like to work my tail off. Sick, not getting paid well, whatever it may be, and then getting kicked right in the pants. So I appreciate you. So I think it should be acknowledged and recognized.
Thank you for that, John. Any other public comment this evening? Well, with that, we will close the public comment. Just want to thank everybody for a productive meeting, getting through some critical items, and we'll be looking for a motion from council to adjourn this evening's meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All right, second by Wood. Katie, please call roll.
Cox?
Yes.
Hasmore?
Yes.
McNabb?
Yes.
Molnar.
Yes.
Schumate?
Yes.
Valentine?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Have a great night, everybody.